Hi, welcome back to this nightly story. We're going to do like a part 2 of the story by Ted Seeger called The Fourth King. So a bit of a recap. So the fourth king goes out and sees a star to go and see the baby Jesus. And while the other 3 kings, Casper, Balthazar and Melchior, all wait for him, they get stuck in a sandstorm and then leave him behind. So let's get started with the second part of the story, and if you all get comfortable, then we can begin. "My dear Mazel," said the note, "we waited as long as we could. We had set off across the desert. One travels faster than 3, and we are certain to see you before the journey's end. Your friend Balthazar, they weren't far ahead. We could surely catch up." Chamberlain galloped faster than he could ever galloped in his life, but Chamberlain was quite a bit smaller than those other camels. His legs too strong, and his legs, though strong, weren't quite as long. As at last I spied them in the distance. Only it wasn't them, it was a merchant caravan. We weren't the only ones travelling at night. The merchants were lost without a map. Could I help them, perhaps? It was such a long camel train, would travel very slowly. What were we to do? My heart sank. We were already late. What were we to do? So we followed my star map, and it was quite a detour in their hometown. In a slow procession, we led the caravan safely to the desert. My heart soared. I could see still in the star. Perhaps we could meet up with 3 kings after all. But then a deep gorge cut across a path. There was no way around it. We could have crossed over. The merchants were scared. Their camels were scared. I was scared. But Chamberlain was with me, and all his courage inspired us. How we all made it, I will never know. But we did. At the outskirts of their town, we bade farewell to the merchants so they wouldn't get lost again. We left the royal star map with the merchants and set off. The night was cool and silent, and the star glimmered like a candle in a faraway window. We rode until we were weary and then stopped in the need of rest. It was Chamberlain who heard it first, a tiny tinkling bell on the breeze. We looked around, but there was no one there. What were we to do? The tinkling came again. A small plant looked at us, withered and thirsty. I gave it what little water we had left. To our amazement, the plant began to flower and then dropped into my palm, a little round flute that sounded like a bell. We were astonished and not a little puzzled. But the star was calling, and I was anxious to join our friends, and that's the end of part 2 of the fourth king. I'll hope to see you again, and Merry Christmas.